It's Legends Day, and we're fired up, focused, and prepared with you, Tony Basilio, along with you. It is Winners and Losers presented by our friends at Dos Equis. Shout out to our friends at VIP Play. We're all ready to play this weekend. Look, those of you watching us on YouTube, I'm like little in here. You know why? Because I'm surrounded by a galaxy of stars. I see Nashville Lee. I'm going to play a little I Spy. I see Kyle Blackburn. I see Blair back with us for the first time this year. I see C in the house. I see Will Heflin and Brian Hartman. Yours truly, Tony Basilio, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. Fired up, focused, and prepared. A golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops, balanced composition, smooth, clean finish. And we're going to go for Dos. We're going for like Catorsi this evening. We got like 15 people in the room. But let's go around the room here. How many of you are fired up, focused, and prepared? And Lee, I come to you to grade the card. Grade the card for me, Lee, this weekend. After last week, looked like a D- on paper. But man, college football delivered. What about this week, Lee? Where are you?
Hey, what's up, Tone? Yeah, I think we need like an all 22 version with how many people we got in here tonight. But yeah, I think it's probably like a solid B plus from a betting perspective. I think we are recording as usual on like a Thursday, so a lot of numbers have moved a lot. That makes it a little bit more difficult, but I think it's a better weekend than it was last weekend. So I mean, I give it a solid B plus. If you're a Tennessee fan, this is like A plus weekend, right? So.
Oh, it's amazing here being in the epicenter of where we are. And as the show emanates, we will just finished our as it airs live on the app, we would have just finished our show at Calhoun's, and it's lit down here. I can promise you that it's absolutely lit. These are weeks that we live for, and you know, at the end of the day, as I welcome Blair back, hey Blair, this is kind of what it's all about, my man. In your business and mine, and in everybody's business, this is what it's all about.
Tony, there's a feeling in the air, man. It's exciting. I don't really feel like the Vols have been this excited in a long time. So you're exactly right. It's good for both of our business. But I am so stoked about the game on Saturday. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be beautiful. Vols are gonna bring home a dub. There's not a better recipe for success, am I right?
Let's start with the Tennessee game. Hey, Lee, the last time you were on here a couple weeks back, you used the term fact finding. Do we have enough facts, Lee, in your mind as we start with Tennessee and Georgia? And then generally our format here, we're going to deviate from it just for a little bit here, and we're going to talk about this Tennessee game. And I don't want to say get it out of the way, but I want to talk about it because it's the main event. Lee, in a fact finding sense, do you believe we know enough about these two football teams coming into this game? Because I feel like this is a season opener for both these teams after playing a couple of exhibition games.
Yeah, to be honest, like I don't feel like I know any more or any less about either one of these teams. Both teams have played two pretty much walkovers. They went pretty much how you would expect to go based on Heupel and Kirby Smart's track history, which are completely opposite when it comes to how they approach non-conference games. Kirby Smart is like 6-24 against the spread in non-conference games. He doesn't care about them. He's 0-10 against the spread versus FCS teams like Austin Peay last week. Like he never shows anything, so it's hard to take anything from the Georgia side. And on the Tennessee side, if you look at Heupel, ever since his first year when he didn't cover against Bowling Green and he lost to Pittsburgh, he's like 15-1 against the spread in non-con games since then. So he just he's a little bit of a bully blowing lesser teams out. So that was kind of expected. So to me, I don't know. I don't feel like I know a whole lot more about him than I really knew before the season started.
Let's take Blair out of the equation because I know Blair's fired up, folks, and prepared for this deal. How many of you feel comfortable? Unmute yourself if you feel comfortable betting on this game. Unmute yourself if you feel comfortable betting on this game. All right, I don't see anybody unmute. Okay, Kyle, you're going to bet. All right, Kyle, lay it on me. What do you got?
Unfortunately, I'm going to take the unpopular Tennessee direction. I am going to go Georgia, and I'm betting them to cover just off of the fact that a little bit more depth overall.
Yeah.
I do think this is probably the best chance that Tennessee has had since probably Dobbs was quarterback, and I think it's going to be a great environment. Definitely have a puncher's chance to win the game. Anything can happen. You know, the Nealon effect is back, which is something I think we haven't been able to say other than the past 2 or 3 seasons. So everything y'all talk about on the Daily Show, I completely agree with. I'll be wearing my orange, cheering loud, but I sort of just go with the known, especially since we started this conversation with what we don't know still through the first couple of weeks. So I'm just going benefit of the doubt. Kirby, just for some reason, he seems to have had Heupel's number.
And that's Kyle. Yeah, he really has. And Tennessee's had trouble scoring points. Will, what's your sense? You've been on campus over at the University of Tennessee, some of these huge sporting events. What is your sense of this one, Will?
It's got the feel of one of those big ones potentially, but after that first drive, really, these guys are just playing ball.
Yeah.
And so, if you like Tennessee, I mean, this thing went way down. I think it was like 8.5, 9, and then Sunday, I think it opened at to take more like 7.5, and then immediately was down to 4.5, and now 3.5. So, I kind of liked Tennessee originally, but completely missed it. So it's no bet. But if we're just talking about being around it, I mean, it's definitely the tightest spread in the last several years, and Georgia's won 8 straight since that Dobbs Hail Mary. If they win tomorrow, it'll be the longest streak since Tennessee went on the run of 9 straight from 8 to late 90s. So Georgia's had their number. Obviously, a lot of that to do with the level of talent that they've had. And so if you look at the rosters overall, I think Tennessee has closed the gap slightly. Georgia's still the better overall roster, but with all those factors, and Gunnar Stockton's first true SEC road game could play a factor. But it's going to be awesome regardless for the campus. The buzz is so good. It's just it's really how you draw it up, and these are the types of weeks that make the football season what it is. Brings everybody together. Certainly needed in a week like this, and so I'm excited for it.
Hey, C and Lee, have they overreacted to what's happened with Georgia as they've readjusted? Because not only they've readjusted Georgia in the Tennessee game, they've also readjusted Georgia in the Alabama line as well. Is this an overreaction from the odds makers? C, I start with you. What do you think?
I think obviously there's some concerning stuff if you trust what you've seen, but like Lee said, you can't. I don't think you.
I think he just got detonated, y'all. Lee, what do you think? Overreaction? Where are you?
Yeah. I think there's been an overreaction within the market. I don't think it's an overreaction with the books. I think it's just the market. So what happened was that Tennessee was a service release by a pretty respected group, put this out on Sunday. They gave out Tennessee plus 7.5, and everybody hit it. And that group that hit it is basically, in other words, they're sort of like a number geek. They're looking at Georgia's numbers through 2 games, and their numbers are going to tell them to bump Georgia down. So that's why they gave out Tennessee. I don't put a whole lot of stock into what Georgia did the first couple of games, because he does this all the time, like I talked about before. I personally think Georgia is on sale right now at a really cheap price if you want to buy them.
It says that it says that at the end of the day, I don't know what to make of this game. Blair, why don't you go ahead and give the pick out? We'll go ahead and christen you here, Blair. Go ahead and give the pick here, man, and then we'll go around the room.
I respect everything that everyone has said. I just can't go against the ball. So, I mean, I would definitely take the 3.5. I'm going to bet the money line plus 150 too. I don't know. Georgia's defense is amazing. They've been so good through 2 games, but I don't know if it gets in a scoring contest. I kind of trust our offense a little bit more. So I'll take the plus 150 money line. That's my pick, even though it has dropped the opposite way that we typically bet. I don't know. I just feel good about Tennessee here.
Yeah, and the wild thing too here, guys, Can we expect the line to go back up, guys, before kickoff? I mean, here we are. Some folks will be hearing us on a Friday afternoon. We're recording this late on Thursday. Can we expect the line to jump, or is it going to stay at that number? What do you all think the number does?
It's going to go up. There's going to be people hit Georgia. There's going to be buyers on Georgia at these prices. If you like Tennessee, I would wait until kickoff.
It's
There you
already
go.
gone up a point. It was at 3.5 through a lot of the middle of the week, and now it's already back up to 4.5 in a lot of books.
Lee, what does it go off at in your mind? What's
Closer
your prediction?
Closer to 6. It's 6.5. I think Georgia's going to take a lot of money once limits go up, starting tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday.
You know, it's really interesting. You know, the thing about I'm sitting here just kind of trying to work my way through this thing. I'm also trying to get C back up on this damn thing. I'm vamping over here. It's telling me his device is not connected. This is a lot of fun. Let me tell you that. All right, let's go around the room. Hey, Kyle, give me your first play from the colleges. And I'll tell you what we're going to do since we have a huge crew in here tonight. Everybody's going to go for Dos in honor of our friends at Dos Equis. And then we'll pick from there. How's that sound, guys? So we're not here for 5 hours. Does that work
Love
for you,
it.
Blair, in honor of Dos Equis? I'm calling an audible at the line of scrimmage here.
Go for Dose, baby. I'm in.
All right. So hit me with your best shot, Pat Benatar. You go ahead. Kyle, give me your best shot here. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go with Minnesota at Cal. The line was at 43. I'm playing the under. Those teams are not offensive juggernauts. Their first 2 weeks don't really tell us a ton, but their defenses are pretty good, and they have good, strong run defenses. 10:30 p.m. local start, not great for Minnesota as well. So I am going to go ahead and take the under on that play.
All right. Under in Minnesota, Cal. Anybody else have, and what's the number there, Kyle?
I got it at 43.
All right. Under 43. Anybody have that game on their radar? All right, let's move along. Brian Hartman, give me your first play.
I want to go to Lubbock, Texas. The Texas Tech Red Raiders have scored 62 and 67 points, although against not much more resistance than air, but they have scored over 60 points in each game. They're facing Oregon State, who's 0-2. Oregon State is a 23.5-point dog. I like Texas Tech to cover that spread at home. I think Lubbock, Texas is going to be hard for a team looking for its first win. Oregon State's an independent, and they're going to be sort of struggling. So I think Tech, they got an offense that's clicking as well as anybody's, and Baron Morton is a very experienced quarterback. So I like Texas Tech minus 23.5.
Texas Tech minus 23.5. All right, Bri. Anybody have a feeling about that game one way or another? Texas Tech minus 23.5. All right. Who's up next? Let's see here. Lee, give me your first play.
Yeah, there's been several games that have moved a lot this week. So, in honest faith, I don't feel comfortable giving a lot of these out. I think one that's still good, it's moved, but I think Duke is still good, plus 1.5. You can look at the money line, should be about plus 110. Duke is at Tulane this week. I think Duke bounces back big time off what happened last week against Illinois. I think Tulane is extremely overrated in the market. I know they won week 1 versus Northwestern. I mean, they turned the ball over like 5 times. I just think Duke is a better team, and I think this is a way too much of an overreaction. I think Duke should be favored in this. I like Duke quite a bit. I'd play them on the money line. You get a little bit of plus money, plus 105, plus 110.
Anybody have a feeling on that one? Duke again. What was the number, Lee?
Plus 1.5, I believe, right now.
All right. Duke plus 1.5.
I'm still recovering from those helmets they were wearing last weekend. I'm still shook about those things, at least Duke.
Well, Blair, the crazy thing is, I don't know what was worse, the uniforms or just their execution.
It was both bad.
I mean, you're
Both really
playing,
bad.
guys, you're playing a veteran quarterback with Illinois. You're gonna give him 4 turnovers. I mean, you're lucky you didn't get mollywopped in the game, which you kind of did anyway. All right, Willie, give me your first play from the colleges.
All right, Tony. We're going to have a little Friday night appetizer. So depending on when you're listening to this, you may want to, if you like it, don't waste time because this is a Friday game. I'm taking a short home dog in Arizona against a K-State team who's they went and played in Ireland, and I'm hoping they kind of are on that Florida State type trajectory from last year where they just can never really get going. Obviously, I think Kansas State is the more talented team, and maybe I'm being fooled because Hawaii is bad, but Noah Fafita looked really good last week, and if Kansas State kind of really can't get out of their own way or can't get going, I think Arizona State has a good shot in this one.
Anybody have a feeling on that game? Arizona over Kansas State. What's the number?
It's plus 1.5, so you get a point of wiggle room there.
All right. Guys, what is up with Kansas State? Does somebody want to explain this to me? Are they going to drag this hangover? Lee, is this going to be a thing? Are they going to drag this hangover through the season?
I mean, I guess it's certainly possible, but they weren't like one of these teams that like went real super heavy into the transfer portal and changed their roster up a ton. Like the game in Ireland, they averaged more yards per play than Iowa State. On paper, they should have won the game. Then they come home. I mean, they had a lackluster performance versus North Dakota, which you kind of expected. Then they got stuck against Army. I mean, we talk about laying double digits against service academies all the time, and they ended up losing outright. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like it's a buy low spot on them. I mean, this would have been like K-State -6 like 2 weeks ago, but at the same time, they just something doesn't feel right with them. So I don't think I could actually get there and back them, even though they seem kind of cheap, but it's tough in my opinion. Maybe they will tank. Who knows?
It is kind of interesting, right? Because that last week was a total freaking disaster for them. And here's where we're at, guys. In this transfer portal era, you're going to see teams unplug a lot quicker than we have in the past. That's going to be a thing. Now, I don't know if they're built up with the number of transfers that say a Florida State had last year, but that becomes something to watch. Something to watch with all these programs. But
I think in the SEC particularly, like when you look at like some of these teams that pushed all their chips in this year, who have coaches that are a little bit on the hot seat, like coming into the season, like at Florida, Oklahoma, Auburn. Like if these teams don't have the seasons they want early, and it's clear they're not going to have those seasons, and all those programs front loaded the money to those transfer kids before the House settlement deal got reached. So those kids have already got their money. If they know the coach is gone, they're going to be checked out looking for where they're going to play next year. So it's a possibility in the SEC for sure. With a handful of teams.
Yeah, it really is, and it bears watching as we go. All right, so everybody's made a play. For some reason I can't get poor C in here. C's like locked out, man. It says his device is not connected, and I'm over here. I'm so challenged. I'm lucky that I'm even on here. So has everybody made their first pick here? I think everybody's made a first pick. Moving along, let's stay in the colleges, and maybe I'll have him text me his picks here. Let me go back to, let's see here. Hey, Blair, why don't you go ahead and queue up your second pick?
Well, I would say I think C probably likes, if you want to just go ahead and write this down, I think he likes USA in the Ryder Cup. I think that's probably his first pick if I had to guess. But I'm going to go, we're going to go Clemson. Disgusting game last week, down 16-0 to Troy before the first half, or before the rain delay. But I don't know. We always talk about those bounce back spots and backs against the wall. I'm sure that I know this line was a lot higher before it moved down this week. Georgia Tech's hot, but I'll lay the 3.5 with Clemson. I feel like it's a win or lose game for them, and they have to win this one. It's gross, but I like it.
Anybody have a thought on the Clemson game this week with Georgia Tech? Haynes King kind of beat up. Does anybody have that game on the radar?
I think I saw where Brent Key of Georgia Tech has a very good record against ranked teams as an underdog. I think he's like 6-1 or something like that. So I kind of think the other side might prevail.
Tony, I look like the bozo that I was tooting the Clemson horn preseason, and they've not looked good. So I don't necessarily have a bet on the game, but certainly will be watching, wondering if it's been a slow start or if they're just not very good, because they've gotten beat around up front on the defensive line, which has probably been the most surprising part about it, because they were supposed to be so good there with Woods and Parker. So we'll see. The Georgia Tech team is just so feisty. I don't know.
Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
I bet Clemson this morning too. I got laid -3 this morning. I guess so. It's all about numbers. I mean, I think this is way too much of an overreaction. Like, yeah, I said 2 weeks ago, I had this game circled. I was going to bet Georgia Tech, but I mean, I was planning on getting 7. Now this is down to 3. Like, I can't. I have to take Clemson here. I mean, Brent Key has been great as an underdog. He's never been this short of an underdog though in any of those games that he's covered or won. Like, this is. I think this is crazy. I mean, this is insinuating they're like on a neutral field. These teams are even. Yeah, I had to take Clemson. I had to lay 3.
Sounds like a power play, Tony.
My guy.
Might be a power play.
I'll tell you this, guys. When you think about, so Clemson is, you guys want to take Clemson minus the 3? Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
At least for me.
All right. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. The market certainly is overreacting. There's a lot of overreaction going on. In fact, C just texted me one of his plays. Let's kick this one around, guys. Florida last week had a result that about 9 things had to occur for that result to come down, and it did. And you give credit to Comrade Golish, and you give credit to South Florida, who now are alive and well if their goal is to make the 12-team playoff. There's no question they're alive and well. But they've got Miami this week, but that's not where we're going. The loser of that game, the Florida Gators, get LSU, and they're getting 7.5. And C likes Florida to cover, and I like Florida to cover. It would not surprise me, guys, if Florida wins this game. Thus, 2025. Does anybody else either on one side or the other of that play?
I'm on Florida too. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a 9.5. As soon as I was hoping it would go up to 10. As soon as I saw it start to drop, I grabbed it at like 8.5. Yeah, this is what Billy Napier does. He's done this ever since he was at Louisiana. It's the way he coaches, his style of play. As a favorite, he's never aggressive enough to cover big spreads, but he will always keep himself in games. When he's favored by 17 like last week, he'll keep himself in a game, and when he's an underdog, he'll keep himself in a game. That's just the way it is. I mean, he's always been like this. So yeah, this is Billy Napier like 101. You'll take him as a dog the week when nobody wants him. So yeah, I like Florida this week. And LSU's offense has not been good. I mean, they're averaging like 20 points a game. Like, I think this is probably a rock fight. I mean, I think both defenses probably have a lot of success. I think it's pretty low scoring. Those points are pretty valuable with Florida.
LSU's flashy, right? But I'm not sure.
That was going to be my question, Tony.
Yeah.
Is LSU good? I mean, we're talking this about Florida Clemson. I mean, it's just there's so many questions there. So I'm with y'all. I'm not convinced yet.
The thing about Clemson, guys, is they have that SEC defensive line, and you have to give LSU a lot of credit for going in there and handling it and, playing well enough to get out of there with a win. But like Lee said, it wasn't like they were great shakes in that game. I mean, because they weren't.
I mean, Nussmeier has two touchdowns through 2 games.
Yeah.
They still don't have a run game. They haven't run the ball at all in 2 games. So.
Not great, Bob.
And the thing about Florida is for that win to occur, for that loss to occur last week, 2 touchdowns called back, a snap over a punter's head, and some other weird things happen in that football game. And I get it. You know, I get why people want to shovel dirt on Florida. It's kind of a fun story here locally, but it might be an interesting investment. LSU tomorrow, and then let's snake around C's second play in the colleges. We'll just stay with him for a second here. He's got Northwestern plus 28, Oregon coming across the country. Dan Lanning, after what was an emotional game last weekend for them, when for some reason Oklahoma State's head coach, it's the equivalent of a 9-year-old kid picking a fight with a 15-year-old. I mean, what are you doing? Do you want to get beat up? I mean, what are we doing here? But that's exactly what he did, and they literally got the absolute hell beat out of them. So he's got Northwestern plus 28 in their building with Oregon. Oregon, it's going to be like their body clock's going to be like an 11 o'clock in the morning to them when they play the game. Does anybody have this one? Does anybody have a thought on this one?
I kind of like that too, Tony. I feel like Lanning runs up the line when, or runs up the score when there's some argument or some beef in between. He's done in the past, and I feel like it's kind of quiet here. So what you said, spot on. I agree with C here.
Kyle,
it's a sleepy spot for Oregon, kind of a sandwich spot because they hyped up that game, and then they've got the Civil War, and they go to Penn State next 2 weeks.
Yes.
So that could be one with that early start that they kind of get in and out of and just kind of sleepwalk through.
The one thing, guys, that would scare me on this are the turnovers with Northwestern. That quarterback's got to be better with the football, or this one could get ugly. So hopefully he got it out of his system in week 1. Because, guys, I sat there thinking to myself, what in the hell was I thinking when I was watching that game? I think that dude threw 4 interceptions in the first half of that game. At any rate,
Andy lost a fumble in the fourth quarter.
I mean, Lee, he was atrocious. Okay,
he's a veteran quarterback. Preston Stone's a veteran quarterback. He's played a lot of college football, and that was pretty brutal. I gave that out. That was awful.
Let's go back to Brian Hartman, who's up with his second pick from the colleges to go with his Texas Tech minus 23.5. Go ahead, Brian.
I want to stay in the state of Texas and go to what I think could be the best team in the Sun Belt. Texas State, San Marcos is at Arizona State. Arizona State coming off a cross-country loss at Mississippi State the week before, a heartbreaking result for them. Texas State is 2-0. They've got a pretty good offense themselves. It's plus 15.5. I think Texas State is the play here, plus 15.5 on the road against an Arizona State team that might be a little bit hungover. I'm not sure how great Arizona State's home field advantage is. I know last year Arizona State went to Texas State and played for some reason. I don't think teams have much to gain, Power 4 teams, by playing Texas State, and they barely got out of there with a win. So 15.5 seems very high. I like Texas State, the Bobcats, plus 15 against Arizona State. 15.5, rather.
Guys, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to throw in there. I may be remembering this wrong, but I think last year Texas State was favored in that game. Or it was at least a really short line. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of interesting.
They were minus 3. Yeah, they were minus. Yeah. They were favored by 3 against.
I think I had Texas State, and they were up and kind of blew it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
It's like an 18-point adjustment from last year. Yeah.
Hey, guys, Arizona State has most of their team back. It looks like they missed the Scadaboo guy. He was so heart and soul to what they did.
Levitt hasn't looked the same. He hasn't looked through 2 games. He hasn't looked right. Like they won a lot of 1-possession games last year. They were like 6-1 in 1-possession games, and that regresses, and they become just an average team in the Big 12. I think this is a good play. I like a lot of points in this game too. I think both teams go up and down the field on each other.
How about that, Brian? You're getting some love in here. You're getting some love in here from the pros. I'm loving it. All right, Kyle, give me your second play from the colleges, my man.
My second play, Tone. So we're going to go Eastern Michigan at Kentucky. The line is that I got it at was over 45.5, now 47. I am going to play the over at 45.5. I know that's kind of goofy thinking, okay, we're going to play, Eastern Michigan, it's Kentucky. However, Eastern Michigan cannot stop anyone, especially on the ground. Even the way Kentucky plays methodically with their slow pace, they're going to score points. And Kentucky's team total has been bet up to 35.5. They're going to introduce that new quarterback. I think they're going to give him some extended work and run the offense. Also, I think Stoops won't keep this one as close to the vest. He'll want to score and look good. And if things don't go his way, he's got a perfect excuse not having that and having a new quarterback.
Calzada's got the plug pulled on him. Do y'all think my man Kyle here
that was quick?
Crazy? Is my man? Yeah, well, it's like C got the plug pulled on him in like 5 minutes tonight. And kind of he's never sounded better. We've kind of got him locked out over here. What do y'all think? What is Kyle thinking here, guys? Can you guys walk? Let's take Kyle apart here. Let's psychologically evaluate what Kyle's thinking here.
I think this is super sharp. I like this a lot.
What?
EMU can't stop anybody. They lost to Long Island last week. Like their defense is awful. They can't stop anybody. I think Kentucky's gonna put up a lot of points this week. I think this is really sharp.
Damn. The panel is bringing it to the table.
Yeah, Texas State, I think, beat them 52-37. I thought Texas State was a good play against DMU with -13, and they did pull that. So
Brian riding his Texas State boys, maybe right into oblivion. Who knows? Will, give me your second play from the colleges. And by the way, Willie, what do we have coming up over at VIP Play this weekend? Lay it on me.
Well, tomorrow we are giving away 2 Titans tickets. So all you have to do to enter that sweepstakes is fill out the quick form. The link is pinned on Twitter. It's on Instagram or the website. You can find it. So if you haven't entered that, want to go to the Titans game Sunday, you actually have a pretty decent chance to win. That's the nice part about smaller sweepstakes is there's not, a million people entered. So go enter that. We're giving away 2 free tickets. And then, your standard same game and parlay boost, all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a cool weekend. There's some interesting specials, some VFL stuff in the NFL, some, touchdowns that are boosted. So just full football season there, Tone. But my second play.
Yeah, go ahead.
My second play is for the exact same reasoning that we went Florida. I'm going Miami, playing the team that Florida played last week, USF. Miami's -17, and I think they make a statement. And Carson Beck's played good. They've got the offensive firepower to, pull away a little bit. And South Florida has played so much stressful football. I mean, they've played Boise State and Florida. It's their 3rd straight Power 5 game. They're going to be on the road, albeit not a long trip. It's just, this is one where you're trying not to overreact when you're like, okay, USF played Florida really well, but they're still, catching 17 at Miami. I'm going to take the favorite here. I could see Miami pulling away in this one.
What's really crazy about this thing too, and you guys have taught me this down through the years, this is a perfect regress back to the mean spot for South Florida. I mean, they've already accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. They wanted to go 1 for 2 in those games. I was listening to a Football Scoop podcast today, and they were saying that they heard some national pundit saying, if you're South Florida, do you think about resting some of your guys in this game?
Load management. Yep.
Load management. And you know what, Lee? I mean, that could happen, right? That could happen in this game.
Their goal is to make the playoff, and this game doesn't matter. They have to win. They have to win their conference to make the playoff, regardless if they win or lose this game. And in order to win their conference, you have to have Byron Brown healthy for the rest of the season. If you lose him, then you're done. You're cooked. And he's coming off of a season where he missed like 8 games last year. And the way he plays, he's taken more hits than any player in college football up to this point already. So, yeah, I think Miami's the clear side here. I like the first half just a little bit better here, like -9.5. Only just to take any sort of backdoor cover out of the window and Mario Cristobal's stupid stuff, whatever. But I mean, Miami full game I think is fine here too. I just like the first half a little bit better. What South Florida has done, it honestly is really not sustainable. They're ranked like 110th, like on a down-to-down basis success rate. They're not very good down-to-down. They're living off of explosive plays, and you can't continue to average 31 yards per touchdown. Like that's not sustainable. And you take away those explosives, you make them have to drive the field. This hasn't been a typical Alex Golesh offense. They're not going very fast. They're playing towards their defense, which is really freaking good. Like they invested a lot of money in that defense. I think they got some players on that side of the ball, but yeah, I think this is Miami on Saturday too. So.
Hey, that was literally a perfect storm for them, Kyle, last week.
100%. And in both games, Tone, they've not actually scored in the first quarter. So I mean that could be a play, but also I like the idea of pulling away early or pulling away late because they're going to probably be playing catch up, which plays into what Lee's talking about too, how they have to have those explosives. So I think Miami's a team that can jump out on them early and just kind of keep their foot on the gas and they won't catch up.
It's weird to me that South Florida, with Golesh their offensive background, that they're sort of better on defense this far in still.
Yeah, and the thing about them, Bri, is they're built. They loaded up this year. I mean, C was talking about how many guys over the age of 20, 21 they have on their roster, how many veteran players they have. It's like 80% of the roster is veteran players. So this becomes a really interesting, and like Lee said, internally, they know they've done what they've needed to do. All they had to do is go 1 for 2 in those games. If they win this game, it's total gravy. And the other thing is that Cristobal is not to be trusted. And this Napier guy, his game management at the end of that game, guys, the other day was disgusting. And I say that as a Tennessee fan that wants Florida to lose every time they take the field. That was an affront to organized football, y'all. That's what that was.
I don't understand. Like when you have so much more talent than the other team, why are you constantly punting on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1?
Exactly.
Like you're supposed to have this Superman all-world quarterback, and you don't show any trust in him at all, and you allow teams to stay in games by doing that. Like especially in this day and age, when most of these programs or coaches have embraced the smart part of analytics and going for it when they should. When you don't do that, the gap widens even further. Like you can't continue to coach like that. And that's what his problem is. And it's horrific game management. So I've always college coaches spend a lot of time watching film, doing scheme stuff. Like I get that. When it comes to game management, it's not just college; it's in the NFL. For a nominal fee, I will again offer my services to anybody out there through text, and I can manage these games better than half of these coaches out there.
Lee is so subtle. Lee is so subtle.
I'm being dead serious. And
I know you're subtle. I love it. I've
watched a bazillion games in my life, and as a gambler, when you have real money on these things, you're constantly thinking of scenarios and situations and what has to happen from this point out in order to get this result. Like, what's a positive EV decision from play to play? And these coaches don't watch that many games. They don't think that way. They're looking at schemes and stuff.
The strangest thing is since the 2-minute warnings come into college ball, these guys are still struggling with when to use a timeout, when not to use a timeout, how to manipulate the end of these games. And you would think with the staffs these people have, they would not struggle the way they struggle, even with something as rudimentary as the clock and clock management, but they do. And it's odd. I'll tell you what's not though, is my friends at Dos Equis, I mean, they've been doing it since 1897. I'd say that's a long time. I'd say that's a tradition. And now college football fans across the land are discovering what a great choice Dos Equis is. And Dos Equis is a great choice. The Golden Pilsner style beer, the choices of hops, that balanced composition, that smooth, clean finish. We're talking about a nuanced blend of malts and earth tones. You got to taste it to believe it, and you will go back again and again, and you will go for dose. Let's go to the NFL. I'll give you C's first play. I'm I do this with trepidation because I agree with him, because I am an absolute Negadelphian to the core. He's got the Chiefs plus 1.5 with my Eagles in the Super Bowl rematch, a game that his Chiefs need, and my Eagles, whatever. Uh, Let me go to Blair. Your play from the NFL, Blair.
Tone, I'm gonna give out the Lions minus 6.5. So I think it was the Bears looked deplorable on Monday night. Caleb is not progressing, and I don't know. Ben Johnson, yes, this would be a bounce back spot, but I think it's even bigger bounce back spot for the Lions. I don't know. I feel like they're going to win by 2 touchdowns here, which is it's a tough pick, but man, the Bears are a mess right now from the looks in the first game. So I'll lay the 6.5 for the Lions.
For them to let the McCarthy kid do what he did in the second half the other night,
Unbelievable.
It's a disgrace, is what it is.
But Caleb just didn't look like a quarterback who was in his second year, and what JJ McCarthy was playing really his first game in the NFL. So
Absolutely,
I don't know. So
first game on the road.
Yeah, no
Monday
kidding.
Night Football, and he's coming,
And
and he's got to play from behind. I mean, think about all the things that had to happen there.
And the Bears have a great defense. I mean, the
Yeah.
Vikings have a great defense too, but the Bears were giving him pressure all day, and he looked poised and composed in the second half. So I don't know. I'll lay the Lions.
No off weeks in that division, boys. No question about it. All right. So Blair's got the Lions minus 6.5 with the Bears. Kyle, your play from the NFL might revolve around your Titans. Go ahead, Kyle.
Actually, it doesn't. And I went with C last week on the cover, and they got it. So I'm definitely not picking the Titans. I'm actually going to go with the Broncos and Bino's Colts, and I'm going to take the under for that one. I just think those are teams that are defenses are better than the questionable quarterback play with Bo Nix and Daniel Jones. And then just following the unders because they went like 11-1 in week 1.
What's your total, by the way? What is the total in that game?
43.5.
Hey, Lee, they're trying to open up the NFL this year after last year it being such a brutal year offensively. Are they going to succeed, Lee, with getting more scoring in their game? Or are they going to struggle with scoring again this year?
I think it's going to go up. Yeah, unders went like 13-3 last week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The kickoff rule is kind of interesting. Like the average field possession was better by like a yard than it's ever been. I think it does. I think you get week 1. I still think you had a lot of sort of just sloppiness out there. In general, I still think even bad teams have advantages with skill position players over really bad secondaries. If you look at like what's been going on the last like 5-6 years in the draft with defensive players not being taken high, like I still think offenses have advantages. I think the scoring will increase. I think week 1 is just kind of notorious for being kind of sloppy.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, to me, the NFL takes about 3 or 4 weeks for it to become a good product because so little's done in the preseason now.
Danny Dimes did look pretty good last week, though, for the Colts. I mean, I don't think anyone had 33 points from the Colts on their single card.
Oh no, so, but who knows what's real in the NFL in the first couple of weeks?
Agreed, but that was pretty surprising.
Aside from the Cowboys, being just, well, I don't know, a little dreadful. All right, let's see who's up next. Who hasn't given a play here from the NFL? Brian Hartman. Is this involve your Jaguars, Bri?
No, it should have last week because I missed my play. I should have given the Jags minus whatever, but I want to go to Pittsburgh. They're -3 versus Seattle. Seattle's coming across the country for a 1 p.m. Eastern time start, which is NFL teams going west to east tend to struggle in this spot. Pittsburgh last week showed that they can play on the road, and they scored a bunch of points with Aaron Rodgers. And I think Seattle won't be able to score like the Jets were able to score in that game. So I like the Steelers -3 in that game against the Seattle Seahawks.
Nice. That makes sense to me. By the way, guys, I think Big Russ is roached finally. What do y'all think? Is Russ finally roached?
Yeah, he shouldn't be on a football field. That was awful.
Understatement. Give me Jameis. Give me Jameis.
What are we doing? I mean, and then for Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh can keep this guy upright and they can get enough deer antler spray on him or whatever we're using these days at that level, who knows? The Steelers might crank out 10 or 11 wins once again.
Tony, why would you not put in Jackson Dart this game? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, what are you getting with Russell Wilson? And then they've already committed to him? I just don't get it.
He's dreadful.
Terrible.
To Lee's point, he was washed up 2 years ago. I mean, the guy's washed, as they say
not there.
in NBA parlance. All right. Lee, give me your play from the NFL.
Yeah, Russ Wilson's a Ponzi scheme, man. This guy's made him a living off of being able to throw a deep ball for like a decade, it seems like. But all right, I was going to give out the Chiefs too. Like Mahomes is like an underdog. It's like 12-1 against the spread, like some ridiculous number. He never loses. I mean, they're completely beat up, but they're missing players. But they'll find a way to win this game. It feels like. But since C gave it out, I'll give out the Jets. I really like the Jets this week at home, catching 6 against the Bills. The Bills coming off that miraculous comeback against the Ravens, sort of kind of a lousy spot. And I think this Bills team has big-time issues on defense. They can't stop the run. I know Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, and nobody really stops him, but they weren't even coming close to putting hands on him. Like, they're starting 2 rookies on the defensive line. They got 2 rookies starting at cornerback. This Bills defense has big-time issues. And this Jets offense, I think what you saw last week, I don't think is a mirage. I think it's actually very, very real. That offense is going to be really good this year, especially their run game with Breece Hall. You saw how explosive he looked last week. 2 years ago, that kid was really, really good. I think he has a hell of a game against the Bills. I think the Jets keep this close. I'll have some Jets money line, too. I think the Jets, really good spot for them back at home.
Let's go, man. Willie, close us out here in the NFL, and then we got to get our 3 power plays.
Yeah, I mean, both of mine stolen right there. So I like the Chiefs, Jets as well. Jets are actually still 6.5, Lee. So you can add an extra half point there on your play. They were actually 7 for a brief moment earlier this week. But I'll pivot and I'll go to Monday night. I'm a sucker for teams that lost week 1, so I'll take Houston Texans on the money line or -2.5. They've got Tampa Bay, who I love that Buccaneers team, but they've got a couple issues as well on defense. And Houston just ran into a really, really stout Rams defense in week 1. Kind of a nice bounce back spot for them. Short home favorites on primetime I typically fall for. The one thing I will say is I don't know if I've ever gotten a game right on week 2 of NFL, so maybe just take the Bucks. But I like Houston.
The NFL season, that's a really interesting card for week 2 in the NFL. That feels like a really, as you guys talk some of these matchups out, it feels like a really interesting card in the NFL. And in the colleges, man, I'm really proud of everybody that you guys put time into this. You guys came in here into winners and losers, and you respected it, You respected the opportunity this week. I almost hate to pick 3 power plays because the picks are so good. The picks are so good. Last week, Lee, in true Basilio fashion, I talked them into 2 losers with 1 winner, and everybody else was winning all over the place. I just found 2 losers. In true Tony B fashion, Lee, I'm sure that really surprises you.
It's real easy to grade yourself after the games have been played, win or lose. Like, you can beat yourself up or you can pat yourself on the back. Like, you got to move on. Like, on to the next. That's what it's always about, man. Only thing you can do, man, get the best number, put it in. After that, it's out of your control. Move on to the next.
We're 3-3 after 2 weeks, so we're pushing money back and forth across the table, but entertaining ourselves in the process here on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. So, guys, what are our power plays this week? What jumped out to y'all? And by the way,
100%.
I'm not letting us take the Tennessee Georgia game one way or the other because that game's just got too many variables in it for me.
Just want to go on the record that I did say Tennessee money line, so I can talk about this next week. But I think there was some consensus on Clemson. Just had to put that out, Tone.
Yeah, let's do Clemson -3. That makes sense to me. What else we got, guys?
I mean, look, if they lose, they lose. But I think it's like I just think it's a good lesson, like in this whole business. Like you're getting Clemson -3, which I don't know, may not win. It's not guaranteed to win, but that's a damn good number, man.
Feels like a total overreaction, Lee, to me.
Oh.
As you said earlier, that's the equivalent of saying if we played on a home field, if we played on a neutral field, this game's a pick 'em. Like, in what world is that game a pick 'em? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we get it's easy to get emotional about teams and games after you watch them, and you have recency bias and all that. Like sometimes you just got to look past that. And we're only 2 games in. Like you can't just completely kill your priors. Like I understand, like the data points we have are important, but we're not to the point yet where we just completely annihilate any prior thoughts or feelings or numbers we had on teams.
Do we want to, guys, play the Texas State San Marcos +15? Do we want Texas Tech -23? Do we want Eastern Michigan, Kentucky over 45.5? Arizona +1.5. Miami -17 with South Florida. Lay it on me, guys. Florida +7.5. What are you guys thinking?
I like Florida.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Florida too.
Let's do that.
I concur.
All right. And do we want to throw an NFL pick in there? Like a couple
Patrick
of you
Mahomes.
said, 3 of you said Patrick Mahomes as a dog. You just play it. It's kind of like Vandy when they're +10. By the way, I'm surprised none of you mentioned Vandy. Do you guys share my contention that Vandy's a live dog this weekend, or is the fact that the general public has gone crazy and taken this thing and run with it make you guys put the caution sign up here?
Tone, I will tell you, I have a bunch of friends in South Carolina, and they're very, very nervous about this game. Very, very nervous about Diego Pavia. So I don't know. I feel like Vanderbilt's always in it, but they're nervous about this game for sure.
The truth about Vanderbilt this year is they look a lot more physical and formidable than they were last year. And it looks like they've got a little vertical passing game too. I mean, that could get ugly for South Carolina. I don't know how you all feel about that. All right, let's go around the room. I want your final score on the Tennessee game on the way out here. And it's been great. You guys have been terrific. But we're 52 minutes into this, so amuse me. I'm going to talk about this game for 5 more minutes of my life that I'll never get back. And I'm loving every minute of it. Brian Hartman, your final score in the Tennessee game.
I'll say I like the over. I'll say 27-24.
Who wins?
I'll hesitantly say Tennessee.
All right, Blair. Final score, Blair. Mr. Moneyline.
100-0. No, I'll go 35-21 balls. Come on, let's go.
What?
Let's go.
What?
Let's go.
We're not driving today, are we, Blair? We have a designated driver here.
Come on, man. You gotta get excited. Let's do it.
Hey, Willie, what's your final score? And by the way, I see where Tony Vitello has like 300 visitors on campus this weekend, including one guy who says is going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Come on, Tony.
Always be recruiting. Nobody does it better than 22 himself. Final score, I think the winner has to get to 28. Who I think is going to get to 28? It'll be Tennessee. They'll get to 31-27 final.
I like what the day before a game does here. You guys, I feel like I'm on game day. Where's Pat McAfee when you need him? Over there annoying Nick Saban. Kyle Blackburn, who do you have? And Kyle, you better watch out. Your mother watches us on YouTube. And she's going to grade you here, by the way. You better watch out when you pick here.
Yeah, Tone. And I know a week from Friday I'm going to be with y'all at Calhoun's, which will be fun. So
Let's
I can, if
go.
I'm wrong about that, then I'll gladly take all of the crow. But I'm going to go. Tennessee does get past that 17-point threshold, but I'm going to say 26-21 Georgia.
All right, 26-21 Georgia. Lee, what do you have?
Yeah, and unfortunately, until Heupel can get over this hurdle, I got to take. I'd have to say Georgia here, like 27-20.
And C says 27-24 Georgia. 27-24.
What's with all these reasonable scores? Come on, Tony.
Hopefully,
I
41-10 balls.
Hey, 100-0 balls. Like, I'll keep going. Like, I can go
make
forever.
sure Kirby Smart only hears the last 3 picks, not the first 3.
He actually says, C says 34-23 Georgia. Look, I think that anything can happen in this game. The way I look at it, guys, this is my read. If somebody does this and bays in it all year, this is a free roll for the Vols here. This is an absolute free roll. I mean, did any of us expect Tennessee to beat Georgia coming into the year? No. But when you saw Joey Aguilar and you see him play a little bit, you see these modifications to what they have, it becomes tantalizing. I mean, it becomes in play. But you guys have been a lot of fun. Any final thoughts? Ryder Cup. What else do we have? UFC. Any final thoughts, guys, on the weekend? Anything else you want to tout?
Ryder Cup's next week, I believe.
Yes. Ryder Cup's
Yeah,
next
2 weeks away. Yep.
Yeah, UFC Noche this weekend.
Did
Main event
where's Noche is where, Lee? Where's that taking place?
It was last year. They had it at the Sphere in Vegas. They used to have it in Mexico somewhere.
That's what I thought.
I thought that was Mexico, but
that's what I thought.
Because the Crawford Canelo fights this weekend too, I think. But the main event's John Silva. He's fighting Diego Lopez. Yeah, I like John Silva in this. Diego Lopez, he's had a little bit of success in the UFC, but he was sort of a journeyman really even before he got into the UFC, and he's been, had some opportunistic finishes, and he's coming off a loss to an aging Volkanovski, where I didn't think he looked all that great. I think Silva's just too technical, too strong, too powerful. Silva can do some dumb stuff in there, though. It's always a worry, but I think Silva can get him out of there. I think Silva by KO. It's not the best price. It's around even money, but I like Gene Silva in this by KO in the main event.
C, send in your WNBA picks for us.
Hey, C's got a tout for the Ryder Cup. He says if you guys want a long shot right now, Patrick Cantlay is the USA's highest scorer in the Ryder Cup. It's plus 1,200 if you get in right now.
That's tough, man.
You might want to sprinkle.
Is tough.
You might want to sprinkle a few dollars on Blair.
But I trust C. I trust C with all things golf.
Cantlay's
tough.
He's been pretty hot on the long shots with golf.
He's the GOAT. He's the absolute GOAT.
Yeah, I've sweated some really ridiculous plays and watched them come to fruition. Like some 30 to, he had a 35 and a 40-1 hit in a tournament this year, and I was sweating it with him, just going.
That's what it's all about, though.
Oh man,
that's what it's all about, man.
If you consistently stay there, and you have enough knowledge, eventually you'll hit some.
Right.
Blair, great having you back.
Glad to be
Hey,
back,
Lee,
Tony.
man. Hey, Lee, great hearing your voice, brother. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Tom. Yeah, I did want to jump in and do this one last time. I don't want to say forever. I mean, maybe I'll be back one day, but this is probably going to be it for me for a while. So, I mean, you guys are totally fine without me anyway, especially with C. Me and C think along the same wavelength. So, if C's giving something out, there's probably 90% chance I'm probably on his side. So, whatever he says you can probably assure that's probably what I'm on too. That's just the way it's been ever since we've been on together. So I've had a blast doing this for the last 4 or 5 years. But just want to jump back on one last time. Tell everybody I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And please go help out your local animal shelters.
Lee Love, man. Anybody that likes our doggies got my vote. And Lee, you're welcome back here anytime, brother.
Absolutely. We'll see. We'll see where we're at down the road for sure.
Yeah. Hey, I respect it, man. Because Lee's like, hey, I gotta create some space in my life. I mean, hey, this day and age of the phone in your hand, and I mean, you can get buddy, you can fry yourself these days with these devices in our hands 24/7. But listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I want to shout out my friends at Dos Equis. You go for Dose. And if we stay on here any longer, we're going to be on here for Dose hours, Blair. I don't know if your
Hey,
lovely wife's going to
we
like
actually
that, Blair. Dose hours.
we actually went for dose tonight, though, and I like to keep doing it. It's fun.
We might be going for Trace.
I mean,
Going for Catorce, as he said
this is
earlier.
ridiculous. This is getting real up in here. Also, shout out to my friends at VIP Play. I'll have a special play, a parlay this week on the Tennessee game from the colleges. I'm gonna take a mix of what you guys have given us and put a nice parlay together and see if they'll put a little juice behind it. But thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. It was terrific. And let's enjoy the college football and the NFL weekend, man. These things are precious. And let's go, guys. Let's make some money.
Let's do it, Tone.
Hit the winners. Stay away from those damn losers. Until next week, my name's Tony Basilio for the cast and crew on Winners and Losers. Peace and enjoy the action.